Victoria, thank you so much for joining me and for coming to meet in some ways the NFT NYC community that may be joining us in this conversation. I look forward to hearing you share and speak at NFT NYC happening April 12th to the 14th. And I must say, you win the award for the most inconvenient time to jump on with me. Everybody, it's 5:40 a.m. in Hong Kong. And Victoria woke up looking like an angel, ready for our fireside chat. So Victoria, thank you for being
so
here.
much.
And can you give us a little background on who you are and what you do in the NFT space?
Of course. Thank you so much, Ivan, to having me. I mean, I decided like last minute I'm gonna travel to Hong Kong for another conferences. So that's why. But I really appreciate you having me here. So a little bit background of myself. Like my name is Victoria. I'm currently the VP of BD for BitMart Exchange. So we are a centralized exchange and I'm in charge of onboarding asset incubation and also slightly investment. We have an NFT marketplace has been live since 2021 the summer. So we have been supporting a lot of projects like their NFT launches and also some promotions and also how to engage with the communities. So it's been really fun journey. There's a lot of interesting things has been happen. So from my perspectives, we would love to see like more just keep coming up. Like I think we already passed like at the beginning, like I would say when the NFT 1.0 stage, there's a lot of digital collections, a lot of like interesting things related to sports, like music, movies, and to even people. And now I think we're approaching slightly to NFT 2.0. It just we're starting to do more functional about what an NFT actually supposed to mean. So they're adopting a lot of use case in the finance, digital transactions. So like for me, NFT is actually just a digital signatures. So there's like a lot more use case beyond just digital collections, which we're actually very excited to see like more use cases and more ideas around for NFTs. So we do have like a lot of experience about like with different projects, different founders. It's just like for me, it's just very exciting and I always like to share like what we have been seeing as like industry observers. So yeah.
For BitMart Exchange, it's a centralized crypto exchange. Can you just give some clarity on which countries does it operate in? And has that changed recently or over time? Because that's one of the things that's always a moving target is how US regulations and European regulations, Asian regulations are impacting different exchanges.
Yes, of course. So this year is actually our 5th year. We just did a 5th year anniversary 2 weeks ago. We started in US, operating in Jersey, and we always trying to be as compliant as possible, as regulated as possible. So we have a really large communities in the US, but to be frank, and there's a lot of booming markets in other countries. So we did a pretty poorly for the other regions in general. Like my team is amazing. I'm just saying compared to what we had done in the US, maybe it's like not really there. So I think for the next couple of days, our focus will see what is the current opportunities and what's new in Europe and also in Asia. So yeah, that's just like some kind of like plans we're currently seeing it. Yeah.
And then you've had an NFT marketplace as part of the BitMart Exchange since 2021. So for that marketplace, does that share the same NFTs that the people want the marketplaces like OpenSea and Blur? Is it just specific NFT projects that people want to explore? Or marketplace where they want to acquire NFTs, to it's like give the NFT NYC community a bit of insight because for many people it'll be the first time that they've really maybe thought about using BitMart NFT marketplace.
Okay, yeah, sure. We kind of like get the privilege as exchange because we supporting basically all the chains. So we start only supporting ETH and Polygon, and then we're adding Solana Avalanche, and we recently also adopting arbitrary algorithm. So like it's just from the exchange, we're already supporting their native chain and for their tokens. So when we see the community is starting to piling up, and now we're just also supporting the NFT chains. So it's kind of the advantage for the exchange because you already have all of these infrastructures. So it's very easy to adapt it. But at the same time, it's like NFT marketplace is not our core business lines. So it's just fun to have it. And sometimes we can do something like a very customized because we have the exchange functions and we have the tokens. So sometimes we can do some like mixed stuff. Like we can do a campaign with the tokens plus NFTs. Can do a campaign with like online promotions or offline promotions. It just gave us a lot of flexibilities to do all of these interesting stuff. But at the same time, like for Blur recently, I know they also do some like staking functions, and then also people be able to get a free airdrop and then for participating or minting a certain type of NFTs. So they are very specific about like what is NFT marketplace, the function it is. We just like a secondary marketplace. So it's the focus is completely different, I would say.
Right.
So yeah.
No, that makes sense. When you look at the market right now in terms of crypto lending, what is an exchange for NFTs, which is kind of a fun thing that you added recently, because you're a centralized exchange involved in a decentralized approach, right? Everybody's talking about decentralization for it, and you've built a massive community. How do you maintain this centralized exchange that a large majority of people can benefit from? Regulations are maybe easier for them to be applied, but having this massive community is decentralized. So can you talk to us a bit about kind of having this massive community that has a lot of decentralized freedom in how they engage with each other, and then having the centralized exchange to serve that community and their friends in their network?
I think like for decentralized marketplace, they are very good for like creators, like the first time creating something. So they can easy to adapt their own collections and reach into specifically NFT communities. And we actually become like a supporter, providing a second layer. They can like buy and sell their NFTs on our marketplace. So as a secondary marketplace, we can help them to issue or mint the initial NFT collections. But like I think they are more interested in how this is going to happen as individual creators and do it on the decentralized service platforms. So there's no like a direct conflict. Like we also supporting a lot of collections on OpenSea. So it's just like we kind of like, centralized exchange. Why is still centralized exchange or centralized any services is existed? It's just easier to use from like user perspective, it's more convenience, and they don't have to figure out like gas fees, how I might be able to create an account, connecting my wallet. I already have everything on the centralized part. So it's just very easy to transferring from the like marketplace, exchange trading or the other stuff. So we just supporting as an additional layer and how the NFT like tradings and then transactions can be easier.
Well, that makes sense. For the event business, right? NFT NYC is a centralized organization. It's controlled, by one person with one company. But the advantage to the decentralized community is they know everybody's coming to this centralized event. And this allows all the communities to have their central events and basically connect to the anchor. So obviously there's a lot to be said for centralized approaches for certain things, potentially exchanges, potentially events, but all of the ways that we're going about doing these things. Bringing up innovation, what are some of the innovations right now that you and the team have been most excited about and are spending the most time investigating, looking toward partaking and being part of these new innovations?
You were talking about, sorry, you were a little bit cutting off. So we're talking about innovations?
Yeah. What are some innovations that have you excited right now?
Okay, so like I said, I think NFTs, the fundamental functions for NFTs is actually for me as a digital transactions, a digital signature. So when we towards to adopting NFT more and more, so we are exciting to see like what's a new use case. And because like there's a lot of things you actually can use NFT as not a collections, can be a proof, can be a transaction proof, can be a signatures. So there's a lot of I think use case on digital paperworks and financial transactions. So we want to see like more and more adaptings for like what's NFTs, like the core function of NFTs. Digital collections is definitely really cool, but I think like that's very easy to community to accept it. What's NFT supposed to mean, and that's just a one use case for NFTs. There's a multiple more, so we want to see like how people willing to like use NFTs and have more utility functions with it, like digital collections and the buy and sell trading, and also doing like I know right now like you can break your NFTs into different pieces and then redo it, and also like doing the loans as a collaterals, all of these. I think we are starting to see more and more utility functions coming out, but I'm definitely more interested in like what is actually like we can use the digital signatures adapting for the other industries or other sectors.
That's right. Well, I have so many questions. I just want to keep learning from you, but I'm always trying to keep these conversations brief. So maybe you could let people know what's a good way for them to reach out to you if they want to find out more about what BitMart Exchange is doing. I believe you're also a partner and involved in a venture arm. And so maybe you could mention that as well. Are you guys actively raising and looking for LPs, or are you actively deploying a fund right now? Give us a little insight in terms of where the venture's at.
Yeah, sure. So we still like actively looking for project, but it just like gave the current market conditions, and we're just pretty slow on the deploying the assets, just to be fair. But like we still constantly looking for project, and we still investing in new project as well. So the best way for reaching out to me, my Twitter and my Telegram is the same handle. So it's Victoria3364. I know right now it's like a fake Twitter account. It has been like gone kind of viral. That person actually sent messages to all the followers and all the people I've been following. It's quite annoyed, and it's still going on. But like my Twitter and my Telegram is always the same handle. So if it's not, it's something else. That's not me. So be careful.
Well, let me share my screen so that everybody can see it right here. Victoria 3364. Just encouraging the community to join you for your panel. You'll be on the community stage on Wednesday at 2:10, and you'll be talking about what building a community really means. Maybe you could give us a quick preview on what we might expect from that, and then we will wrap up our conversation at that point.
Sure. I don't want to share too many secrets about what the actually conversation going to be, but I can give some tips. So we're thinking like for each crypto project or NFT project, your community is really important. How they be able to supporting the project ongoing, and how they be able to see the visions as the founders trying to set up. So we can give like some like insights we have been seeing what is really successful community has been built and why it's so important, and how the communities potentially can hurt the project in some ways, and why the good communities can support the project and last on for the long term. So we can have like a little interesting conversations related to these topics. So I'm not going to give you all the details, but yeah, I hope people are excited about the conversation.
Well, I was excited about this conversation. I was not overly familiar with all the things that you and your team are working on, so it was nice to learn. Thank you again for choosing to get up at 5 a.m. in Hong Kong to join me. And I imagine you're very busy all the time, flying around and trying to be at all these different places. We look forward to spending time with you at NFT NYC in just 2 weeks.
Same here, same here. Thank you so much, Ivan, for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. For everybody that watched this conversation, thank you for your attention. I'll be back again with another conversation just like this very soon.